Let's continue our discussion of the use of detail markers. Just to refresh, this little symbol here says this is detail D, and you'll find it in a layout drawing LD02. So it's a detail showing how some glass screening is to be installed in that area, whereas the overall plan for this is a spa deck. What's been done here by Naturescapes, TracTron Naturescapes, they've drawn a rectangle around, then connected a line to the detail marker. So we know that it'll be detail E, again on layout sheet LD02. Now, armed with lots of information, we know where we are heading if we want to go to detail B, which is the wicking bed, movable wicking bed. Notice if I pick on the symbol here, and quite cleverly it's being given colour 255 or white, and it's a fill area where it has been, the circle has been filled, so that'll stand out against a darker background. So these detail markers tell us where to find things in our layout sheets. So if we come here and we want to look at the overall spa deck layout detail, it's detail E, but the pool mount is detail D, so we get all of the clever and detailed information for the construction team or consultant that is going to put that in. So this sheet, LD02, contains all the detailed information about parts of the design, whereas when we looked at LD01, if we wanted to get a concept, we're back there, and planting detail is here. So we can have any number of layout sheets, but once we're in that model area, we can find our way around and easily manage that. So it works and helps you as a designer, and as far as the client is concerned, you may want them to see part of this, but maybe not all of it, unless you gave them one of the demonstration copies of GCAD Plus. They could then find their way around in the same way. But I suspect most designers don't want to go down that route. So it pays to give some attention to these markers, and I particularly like the way Naturescapes have done this one where you're outlining an area. So in complex drawings, and I've seen a number of them from our Scandinavian designers where they have 20 or 30 layout sheets along here, and you're using that sort of dotted area and a tag to find which particular sheet in the very large garden will provide detailed information about planting in that area. So these markers can be very powerful and very helpful. There's perhaps a little scope for improvement here. If we look at this marker, notice that the text is left justified. I think it would be easier if you were making a block and going to use this marker to, instead of make that left bottom, make it center and then move it. If you wanted to be really precise, you could draw a line from, say, the midpoint here down to the quadrant of that circle there, and then you could exit from there, pick up this piece of text and move it by its base point to the mid of that line. Now remember, and then we can remove the line here. You could perhaps do the same to the main character that describes the sheet, but any editing that you do, you might want to copy this one and use it somewhere else. in the design, like so. And so when you edit that text, let's make it a little bit longer, LD006. And if I then escape from there, you can see it still stays nicely centered. And similarly, if we reduced it, it was on sheet LD for landscape design, just 1. Whoops. Let me dive in again. LD1. No matter what you do, that text will stay centered. So it's a tiny improvement, I think, to the use of that marker.